Hey, what is up, everybody? This is Stevie Breach coming to you. I'm on my lunch, and what do you know? I'm riding down the road. I turned my phone on to kick off my lunch here, and I am bombarded with tweets and text messages from my friends. My main man, Jack Swagger, released from WWE. I think, like everyone out there, anybody who doesn't know, I mean, Jack Swagger really hasn't been mainstream WWE in quite a while, since honestly about WrestleMania 29 time. But when I first started making videos, I mean, back before he even won the World Heavyweight Championship, I was all about Jack Swagger. I loved the guy in ECW. I loved his physical style of wrestling that he had there. He won the Money in the Bank at WrestleMania 26. I was lucky enough to be there. And honestly, he climbed up the ladder and I saw that no one was around. And I was like, he's going to win it. He's going to win it. Because I was such a fan of him, I honestly picked him to win the match in my prediction video, but never really thought that he would actually do it. And then once he got to the top, and it took him forever to grab that damn briefcase, I thought that maybe somebody was missing their spot, somebody was mistimed, maybe somebody who was supposed to grab him got injured, and they were trying to fix it on the fly, but he finally grabbed that briefcase, and then cashed it in just days later on SmackDown, when he was on the Raw brand. Something that honestly, now with having the brand split once again, I hope that they do that. I know that they ended up bringing with the brand splits, different Money in the Banks when they started the Money in the Bank pay-per-view. They had one for Raw, they had one for SmackDown. But honestly, I'm hoping you can go after any championship at any time, and that'll just make it even more fun when somebody has it. But Swagger, I can't really remember the last time he was really in the news or really had a match that people cared about. He had that match with Baron Corbin, I think at No Mercy, when he was on Raw after the draft. He lost the match to Jinder Mahal, showed up on SmackDown saying that his Raw contract had ended, even though the brand split of the draft was like a month before. They went as far even with Dave Meltzer saying that SmackDown and the brand had big plans for Swagger, and that's why he made the jump. Apparently the big plan was to get a wishy-washy win over Baron Corbin on SmackDown, and then lose on the pay-per-view, and then never be seen again. The last time I even saw a picture of Swagger wrestling, I think it was in a dark match, because it actually looked like he was at a SmackDown taping. He was wearing like a full-on, wrestling suit like he wears, but he was wearing a headband, and he was wearing like the wrestling headgear that the guys wear, and he didn't look to be at his best. I don't know, man. I kept on hoping that we were going to get a career resurgence from Jack Swagger. I can honestly tell you that I thought he was going to get released, honestly, a long time ago. And probably the fact that he is a former World Heavyweight Champion, and, wrestlers that hold the World Heavyweight Championship sort of get put into a different bracket where they don't want them wrestling for TNA or anything like that. They don't want them showing up. Sure, Kurt Angle found his way out, and, Jeff Hardy found his way out, but most guys, when you get put in that bracket of being World Heavyweight Champion, you're going to be sticking around for a long time. I know he's had some runs as, United States Champion. I think he's had 2 of those. I don't think he ever won the Intercontinental title. He should have won the damn tag title. You want to talk about a career resurgence, that's probably the last time that he was really on fire, was around WrestleMania 30, with the whole We the People deal, with him and Cesaro teaming up. I mean, their theme music was everywhere. When you went down Bourbon Street, people were singing that like bananas. But I can remember before WrestleMania 29 thinking that Swagger was going to get cut because of the fact they hadn't been using him in a long time. And then out of the middle of nowhere, he returned on the SmackDown and he won a spot in the Elimination Chamber. And I was like, well, that's cool. They put him in there. That's one way to bring him back. And then he won the fucking thing by pinning none other than Randy Orton. During his stint in WWE, Jack Swagger has 2 pay-per-view wins over Randy Orton. Both of them clean. I mean, no interference, no, hitting anybody with a lead pipe. He beat him in that Extreme Rules, and he beat him in the Elimination Chamber and able to win it. Of course, everybody knows about what happened after that with his arrest. I saw him actually tweet about that because the anniversary of that deal came up, and he basically had said that all charges had been cleared. He kept on appealing the case, and finally they just threw it out, and so there's nothing on his record. But he got popped. I think it was like in Alabama, might have been like in Mississippi, but I can't remember. But it was somewhere down south. And I really thought they were going to take his title shot away at WrestleMania. I really thought that they were going to basically fire him on the spot. The wrestling people had sort of always been featured on TMZ and things like that, but they ran his freaking mugshot and talked about the case, and they basically didn't put WWE in the best of light. But I think they really thought that they had something that was going to catch mainstream fire with the whole We the People thing with Zeb and Swagger, and I don't think it really ever got there. I think that when that one guy that's on like Fox News talked about them, and then WWE challenged him to show up on Raw, that's probably as hot as it ever got, but it never really got mainstream publicity press with them. So, it sucks. If you've been a fan of the Wrestling Observer and you listen to Observer Radio, people have asked, as New Japan got hotter. I mean, over the past few years, basically, Dave has been asked a lot of times, who from WWE that's not being used right, if they left, would be able to go and be able to be a part of New Japan. And since then, New Japan has signed a whole bunch of new talent that's there. And so I don't know if that opportunity would still be there or not. But Swagger was always a guy that Dave would bring up. Big physical style guy that's not going to be afraid to go in there and beat some people up and get beat up themselves, working a strong style. But I'm a big fan. I think everybody knows that, and if you don't, go back and check out the old videos. But it sucks. Maybe he'll pop up in TNA if he wants to keep on with wrestling. Maybe he'll just want to go raise that awesome family that he has. I think he's got another baby on the way. I know that he already has the one, and but Swagger was always a great guy. Love the dude. Met him a few times. Always really glad to meet you. I remember one time he met my buddy Michael, who's my cousin, and it was Michael's first wrestler that he's ever met. And I think everybody has been in that situation before where you mark out just a little bit too much, and Swagger was cool with it, and I always really appreciated that. Plus, my buddy Victor has met him a whole bunch of times. Swagger's a big 49er fan, and they always do some cool 49er poses. Like they've got the one doing the Kaepernick deal and all that, which, today he just opted out of his deal, so maybe both of them would rather forget that. But yeah, it is what it is. He's always going to be that guy that took us to the Super Bowl and to those NFC Championship games, so you can't really forget him. But we'll see. It's not going to ruin my day. I know that he'll bounce back and he'll find something out there. Peace out, everybody.